Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcode.com and welcome to the second video in our Let's Learn PHP video. So basically here I am in PHPStorm in a little test project, and we're just going to make a new file if this will let me. There we go. New PHP file. File name, we'll just call this testing.php because this is just where we'll just kind of have our scratch pad. I hope I didn't just call it testing.php.php. I think I did. Well, let's see here. Nope, I think we're good. Thank you, JetBrains, for being prepared for my accidents. Okay, this is the terminal, so I'm just gonna let that terminal load up. So again, I got to that by clicking over here. Cool. So that way when we need to, we can test our file. Again, our file always starts and ends with the PHP tag. So let me just put a closing one. Cool. And basically, again, you can print stuff using echo, but echo prints it out as straight text. So if I put hello world, okay, and then I go over here, and again, I can go right into the terminal, type in PHP testing .php, and cool. So now in that case, what you want to do, probably, so that way it breaks through a new line, is we'll put a BR in there. Or actually, not like that, BR. Okay, and let's see if that will do the trick. It would in HTML, but I just don't know if it'll do it in the CLI. No, it'll just print out the new line. So in the CLI, do we put in a new line character? Let's see if that does the trick. There we go. Okay. So that way we have hello world in one line. Neat. Okay, now you can echo whatever you want. So again, just like any other programming language, you can do all the mathematical and Boolean expressions. So I can do 5 plus 5. So I'm echoing 5 plus 5. So this should just print out 10. Oh, let's see what it's not liking. Unexpected. Oh, that's right. PHP is very strict about semicolons. Okay, at the end of every command, you need a semicolon. This will probably be the most annoying thing about the language versus like Python, Ruby, and Go, which were the last three I did where semicolons were not necessary, or JavaScript where they are optional. So here they are needed at the end of every command. You'll see in certain syntactical places that there's a reason why this is necessary, because there are going to be certain things where it otherwise just would not be able to tell where a command ends. But a lot of post PHP languages stopped requiring semicolons, so it does take a second to get reused to. Cool. So this should fix it. And there you go. See, hello world 10. Okay, and you can see the 10 kind of smushed in there. Again, PHP is mainly meant for the web, so it plays a little funny in the CLI. Cool. And then again, you can add, you can divide. 5 divided by 5 will be 1. So we get the 1 right there. Okay, what I'll do is I will echo a new line here. So that way, there we go, that looks better. Okay, and variables. Like, let's say you want to have variables. Variables, here's where things are getting a little unique to PHP. So the way PHP does is that all variables must be preceded by a $sign. Okay? So if I were to try to do this, 5 equals 5, okay, that's not going to work. It's going to be like, I don't like that. Okay, so let's just put, then we'll put the variable here, 5. Okay, boop. See, it's like, what's this? Okay, what you need to do is put a $sign in front of it. Okay, and that should clear that up. Yep. And then this would need to have a $sign in front of it as well. Okay, and knows that that's a variable. Okay, so a dollar sign belongs to any variable. Okay, cool. And then if we wanted to just echo the variable 5, we'll just try that too. 5. Cool. And the cool thing about this is that it makes interpolation pretty straightforward. So for example, if I did this, the variable 5 is worth, I just literally put the variable in the string and it works. So I do like that a lot. That makes interpolation very, very, very easy compared to pretty much any other language. Okay, which makes working with strings very pleasant. Okay, versus doing like concatenation. If I remember right, concatenation is weird in PHP. So if I remember right, the way concatenation would work is if I wanted to do like hello, and then I wanted to attach dot world, usually you would do plus world. This is not going to work. Okay, it might work, but it shouldn't. Yeah, non-numeric value, because plus is, in this case, plus in PHP is purely for addition, numerical addition. So since these are not numerical values, what you have to do is you put a period. So technically, it would be like dot, and then I want a space, dot world. Okay, so you use dot notation to concatenate, and that I find odd, but it's the way PHP does it. So, cool. So we got concatenation. We've talked about interpolation. We've talked about assigning variables. Again, all variable names always have to start with a dollar sign, so that's just something you have to get used to, and that's everywhere. Even when we get the functions and you put in parameters, everything's got to have a dollar sign. And the only time you don't need a dollar sign is when it's a property of a variable that already has a dollar sign in front of it. So I'll come back to that when we get to classes, because that's really where that comes up. Cool. Let's see here. Any other things I want to point out? Okay, everything else is works the way you would expect it to work. So an if, so say if true. So again, if it's true, then a thing happens. Echo it is true, semicolon, else it is echo it is false, semicolon. Okay, so right now this is true, so it should say it is true. Yep, that's what it does. And then some new line characters, so it looks pretty in the terminal. And then I'll change this to false, because again, those are Boolean values. They represent true or false. So you can just type them, no quotation marks needed. False. Cool. And again, you can put any expression here. So if you're not as familiar with if statements, I could put in here like is 5 greater than 6, which it's not, so I should get false. It is false. But is 5 less than 6? True. You can do compound. Now, if I want to see are these two the same thing, so if I want to do like 6, well, let's do this first. This I always get foggy on, whether it's going to be 2 ampersands or the word and. Different languages, different strokes. So we'll say, is 5 less than 6 true? And is 7 equals 7 true? So when you do 2 equal signs, that means are they the same as each other? Expression has the same operands. Okay. So does 7 equal 7? Is 5 less than 6? Let's try that out. That should be true. Those, because both statements are true. 7 does equal 7, and 5 is less than 6. So it is true. But now does 7 equal 8? 7 and 8 are not the same thing. So I should get it is false. But if I do or, so instead of 2 and symbols, it's or 2 lines, then only one of them needs to be true. So technically 5 less than 6 is true. So even though 7 equals 8 is false, it'll evaluate as true. Okay. So we got if statements out of the way. then I think while loops pretty much work the way they always work. So a while loop, again, if you want to repeat code over and over again, we'll just say while. Usually what you do is first you create a variable. So we'll say my loops. We'll create two variables. We'll say the counter, which means counts how many loops we've done so far, which should start at 0. We've done 0 loops to start off with. And then we'll have count saying max loops, the most amount of loops we want to have. And we'll say we want to do 5 loops. And then we'll just say, hey, while counter is less than max loops. And I gotta go put back my dollar signs. So so long as that's true, this code in the curly brackets will loop. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to echo the counter so we know which loop we're on. Put a new line character so that way it's nice and pretty. And then we're going to take max loops, counter, and I think I can do incrementing in PHP. Let's find out. Looks like we can, but I gotta make sure I gotta put all my semicolons. Okay, again, 2 pluses means increment, which means to add 1. 2 negatives would be to minus 1. So let's see here. Let's run that. And there you go. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops because it starts with 0, then it loops 5 times. Okay. So that's a while loop. Then that's basically how you set that up. Now here's the thing. Isn't that kind of annoying to sit there and have to worry about incrementing it here, then put in the expression here, and then create these variables up here? Wouldn't it be nice if you could just do them in one nice little thing? You can do that. I'll keep max loops up there, but what I can do is you can do what's called a for loop, which has 3 parts. Okay, so we can move this counter piece cut into here, because that's the first part where you declare your counter. Then you have your expression, and then you have that thing that happens at the end of each loop, which is this. So we can cut that out from here, and there you have a for loop. Okay, let's see here. Expected. Well, there is a parenthesis there, but that's because I don't need a semicolon for the last one. There we go. So this is the same exact loop, but you can see it's a lot cleaner because I have all that information here in this line. And that's a for loop, and it's a thing you can use. See, and there it goes. It does the same thing. But either way, if you want to loop code, you could use a for loop. You could use a while loop. Want to see if something's true or false, you use if statements. It's all pretty straightforward. Pretty much like most languages you're probably pretty familiar with. But I feel like that's a pretty good amount for this lesson, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, and ciao.